Marvel Snap's newest card, Scorn, released to a resounding eh. A lot of people look at it and see a card that only fits in one deck, and that deck doesn't fit in the current metagame. Well, I gotta tell you, I played that deck, and I was way more impressed than I thought I would be. Welcome to ScornHub. Scorn is a 1-2 with the ability to, when discarded, gain 2 power on its own and give 2 power to one of your cards on the board. This makes it, unfortunately, very limited in scope. I would compare it in terms of impact to Sebastian Shaw, where this is a card that goes in one deck, Modok discard, but is actually a very good card in that one deck, and only in that one deck. And this is that one deck. If you like dropping a ton of power on the final turn, this could be the deck for you. The interesting thing about this deck is that when I originally put it together, I expected it to kind of go nowhere and be outpowered by a lot of stuff in the metagame, and that ended up not being nearly as true as I thought. Yes, there are a bunch of decks that are able to put a lot of points on the board, and yes, you are not amazing into those decks that are able to put more points on the board than you, but a lot of things have to go right for them to put those points on the board, and a lot of things can go right for you to win. I do think that fundamentally the inclusion of Gambit in this deck is an admission that it's more tier 2 than tier 1, but I also think that that's a lot better than Modok discard has been in a very long time. I was shocked at how good this deck was for me, honestly. I gained about 75 SP, untapped broke, so I don't have my actual stats. I had someone tracking it. They said I went 38 and 25 with this build, and that is a lot. Like, that is a reasonable amount of games to play and come away with a positive record, gaining a decent amount of SP. I am shocked by this a little bit because I didn't expect it to be this good. So let's talk about the deck, why it was able to surprise me, and what it is that I was worried about that I'm now a little less worried about, but still not unbelievably unworried. So let's start with what I was worried about. Discard is a straight up points deck. It doesn't really have interaction. It's only ever going to be a deck that does points. The only interaction I have available to me is that one flex spot at the 3 cost. That can be Goon Knight, that can be Gambit, it can be some other cards too, but I think those are your leading contenders. You have a flex spot as well with the Collector, but I don't think that's going to be the kind of place you can fit tech in. And the obvious reason for that is it's really hard to play tech when your whole goal is to get cards out of your hand. Tech is usually best late in the game. You play Modok on turn 5, it's just not really a thing. So my worry with this deck was that it wouldn't be able to stand up to the efficient point packages that are dominating Marvel Snap right now, mostly Agent Venom related. I expected it to be significantly below those in terms of numbers, and when I actually played it, it wasn't. I think it was still a little bit below, but it wasn't nearly the gap that I expected it to be. You can play against those decks and you can beat them. As long as they're not doing their nut draw, you are very much in the game. And that is something that was very surprising to me. I didn't expect it. Similarly, you have a similar amount of points to like the Gwenpool Agent Venom deck. You're able to compete with those decks. It's not necessarily favored, but it does make me feel like this deck is a worthy tier 2 deck rather than hard unplayable. And I was worried that it would be hard unplayable. So what actually changed for this deck is fundamentally just Scorn. Scorn is a lot of power that you otherwise didn't have access to. She gains power at the same rate as Apocalypse. I realize not literally on her, so she's less good with Dracula, but she's also putting that power on the board, which is very good, because you as a deck are weak to Cosmo, so actually getting ahead and getting those points on the board is actually quite useful in not getting blown out by the dog. You're still going to get blown out some, but she does make it a little less likely. Scaling at a +4 rate, the 2 on the board and the 2 in the hand, is similar to Apocalypse, and again, she costs 1. There are games where you're just playing this card out as like a 1-6 or a 1-8 on the final turn of the game, and that's the second thing that she brings to this deck. Unpredictability on the final turn. The way most good players play against the discard deck, especially if there's a Dracula down, is they are aware that there is, an Apocalypse in hand, it's got like 16 power, and then some amount of swarms, so they play around all the swarms, the Dracula eats the Apocalypse, that's the baseline, right? Level 1 is, instead of letting the Dracula eat the Apocalypse, they put the, they play the Apocalypse somewhere else and like try to bluff you out of the Dracula lane, but now you can do more than that. you now have access to a card that is going to be 6, 8 power some of the time, in addition to all of those swarms and whatever other card that you drew. So you're actually able to have a meaningfully weird power output in a way that the deck simply was not able to in previous iterations. And that, I think, is the other thing Scorn really brings to it. Is it enough to make discard a competent, consistent meta competitor? I personally am leaning on the side of I doubt it. But it is a core card in the discard archetype. That I have been convinced of. So if you like playing this deck, and you want to continue playing this deck, I do think she is very good here. I'm realizing as we get to the card-by-card breakdown that everything I wanted to say about Scorn, I actually just said 2 seconds ago. So what I'm going to do is say, if you want to know more about Scorn, go rewatch that section. I literally just talked about it. Blade is kind of a confusing card for me to play in this deck. A lot of the time I'm looking for a top deck Scorn, a top deck Swarm. It's important when you play a deck like this to remember that if you discard a card, it will come back at the front of your hand where Blade can hit it. So if you play a Lady Sif and a Blade, you will hit Apocalypse twice. If you play a Colleen Wing and a Blade, you will hit whatever you Colleen Winged. If it was like a Swarm or if it was like a Scorn, it will go to the front of your hand and Blade will hit it. That is mostly his utility, is he doubles up on your other ones, right? He's not often doing stuff on his own, but sometimes when you get like a good hit, he's a fine thing to play on his own. Mostly he's doubling up your other guys. And a lot of your good draws involve something like Morbius on turn 2, then Colleen Wing Blade a Scorn on 3, or maybe a Swarm, either one. And then from there, you like play a Dracula, a Modok, that kind of stuff, right? That's what your really good draws tend to look like, and that's what the importance of this card is. Morbius is your Thena. I mean, obviously he has some built-in weaknesses. Cards like Enchantress and, of course, Rogue are going to get you when they get you. But this is a card that is going to be 10, 12 power on a good day, and for 2 energy, you really cannot get any better than that. It is Morbin time. Collector is a bit of a flex slot. I think you can try other stuff here, but none of it struck me as worth doing over the Collector. You could try a Meek, but I'm sort of torn on Meek because if you have a Meek in your hand, suddenly your Scorn discards off of Colleen get a little bit scarier. And so I kind of want this card to be a 2-drop that scales. It's possible Meek is just straight up better. This actually reminds me, why the hell does Meek have 0 power? Can they just give that back, please? That would be so nice. I had some questions about Swarm coming into this. I was thinking, okay, are we going to need to replace Swarm with Scorn? Swarm was actually a great card for me. Like, I view this card as, like, similar to Scorn in terms of how much I want to be hitting it with, like, Colleen Wing Blade. This is a card that just puts a bunch of numbers on the board. I realize it's not, like, of all the cards that become free, it's probably the weakest, but it is still your method of spreading your power out and attacking multiple locations, and I often find that more valuable than, say, getting extra Apocalypse procs. This card is quite good. You get multiple hits on your Collector. They're like a swarm of bees, is the main method of making your Collector be a really relevant piece. You obviously also have Scorn and Apocalypse, but Swarm will do it twice. Scorn and Apocalypse only once. Colleen Wing is super hit or miss, and that's not to say like it's okay to cut her or anything like that. When I say hit or miss, I just mean like your best draws usually involve her hitting a Scorn or a Swarm. Your worst draws are the ones where she's sitting in hand where you have no targets and you can't do anything with her. And so she's part of the best things this deck does and also your bricks, because all of the bricks this deck has are basically I drew all the enablers and nothing to discard them with, or I drew all the discards and nothing to get enabled by them. And that is a lot of when you'll feel sad about Colleen Wing. To me, putting Gambit in this deck was an admission of it being tier 2 rather than tier 1. I don't think a tier 1 deck needs to rely on random rolls to sort of claw its way into games it has no business winning, because that's what tier 1 decks are. There are not a lot of games they have no business winning. Their job is to sort of strangle the life out of everything else, right? This deck, I think, has to play Gambit, and that is why I feel like it's sort of more firmly tier 2, despite the fact that I did better with this deck than I have with many other tier 1 decks. I do think that my inclusion of Gambit is sort of an admission of that, right? I roll a lot of the time, and you'll win and lose based on Gambit rolls some of the time. And sometimes that is the only way you will be able to win the game, is by rolling a Gambit, and then the worst possible thing happens. This guy loved discarding my Modok. I still gained 75 SP with the deck. You're a discard deck, you play Lady Sif, but I will say I was more disappointed in her in this list than I have been in a while, because she has absolutely no use unless you have Apocalypse in hand. I don't think I can reasonably look at replacing her, but the amount of times I had this card in hand and I was looking at a hand with like Modok in it, where it's just, it happened a lot and I didn't like it. And that's really all I'm trying to say. This guy gets huge. Just really, 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 really big. Like, your opponent will need a big Iron Man to contest this guy's lane, and if they don't have that, he's just going to win it, and even then, he might win it. Like, this is a 20 power dude. It's a 24 power dude. When combined with Apocalypse, the Dracula Apocalypse interaction is the heart of discard. It has been forever, and it remains that. The interesting thing about Scorn is that it gives you a sort of second one. If you can get enough hits off on a Scorn, you can get 8, 10 power off of this Dracula and play it, you know, not as the world's biggest guy, but as also this like more mid-rangey thing, because, okay, you have your Scorn out, you are scorning for like 8 or 10, you get that on the Dracula, you also give +2 to something else, you also give +1 to the Collector, you also give +2 to Morbius, and suddenly it's like, you have just a lot of points a lot of the time with this card. Proxima Midnight is all right. I think it's odd to look at this card and say, hey, the free 4/7 is only all right. But the fact that you can't really get her into the lanes you want her is actually kind of a problem. A lot of the time with this deck, I'm really hard targeting 2 lanes. And when I'm hard targeting 2 lanes, this card's just doing nothing. Like, it's just not helping me in the lanes I need it to help me in. And that is really relevant in terms of the gameplay experience, because this is a metagame that requires pick and choose 2 lanes, go tall a decent amount of the time, and she is just awful at that. She will win you some Sanctum Sanctorums, though. Modok has been the key card in discard since he released. It's not very complex why. He discards your entire hand, and your deck is full of stuff that wants to be discarded, so that's pretty much why he's good. Extra Apocalypse, extra Scorn proc, extra Swarms, Proxima goes down on the board. That's what Modok does. That's his thing. Not many people know this about me, but Apocalypse was the first card I ever fell in love with in Marvel Snap. I loved the idea of it. I remember using like a fan site that doesn't even exist anymore to look for discard cards to play Apocalypse with. This was the card I wanted to be good more than anything else. This like ever-growing threat, forecasting himself, showing up on the board just to let your opponent know that it wasn't good enough. And even then, he was not very good until people started getting into Series 3 and like unlocking Wong when Hellcow cost 2, so you just like pitch your whole hand. We didn't have Modok back then. But this is a card that is close to my heart, and I don't think a lot of people know that. You'll also recognize maybe that this variant is from the first ever bundle they released, and part of the reason I bought it was because it was for Apocalypse. Apocalypse is my guy, and I enjoy when his archetype is good. And I think right now I feel like it's 1 or 2 cards away from being super legit, to be honest with you. This is an archetype that is very close to being good. And if we had better options for maybe some interaction, or maybe whatever that Gambit slot is, just something, I really think we'd be close. I wonder about like maybe a 3/5 activate Hellcow kind of deal. Like maybe that is what this card, this deck is really looking for in that 3-drop slot. I'm not entirely sure what it is. We are very close right now. I do not think I would have been able to climb with this card before Scorn came out. I just don't. And now that it has this sort of backup Apocalypse that builds the board up, it does have a little bit more built-in redundancy, and you're bricking less and you're doing strong things more, and you're close enough to those point ceilings that you might actually get there. So I do think there's something to be said for this archetype. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I don't know how many people care about the stats that I put at the beginning of the video. I would put stats there, but Untapped just sort of broke on me yesterday, so I had someone in my chat track them manually, as I believe I've already mentioned. but none of my stats got tracked on Untapped, and none of their stats seem to be updating, so I think it might be on their end. I'm not entirely sure. If anyone knows what the hell's going on with there, hit me up. And as always, we're going to get into some gameplay now. I hope you enjoy. I've been KM Best. You have been phenomenal, and I will see you in the next one. Would anyone be willing to manually track my shit? Wait, in case of Killmonger. Diggs or Cooper, the better trade? Diggs? You mean Adams? Diggs? The fuck? Diggs? Fuck are you talking about? Diggs. You didn't hear? Yeah, crazy. Alright, probably just getting Agent Venomed here, but I gotta stay in because I'm testing. Yep, got Agent Venomed. Coolio. We're both having a lot of fun here. Everybody loves having fun. Everyone's favorite thing is having fun. Fun havers. That's us. I think the Delta, like, I want Amari Cooper to still be good, so we'll see. I just find it impossible to accurately rate anyone whose quarterback is either Aiden O'Connell or Deshaun Watson. Like, I'm supposed to be like, yeah, that's a thing that's meaningful. I'm supposed to treat that as a meaningful piece of information. I don't really think that I can. Surely just dead, yeah. Nico for 2x, alright. Surely it just works, right? We 100% win. We never lose. We actually do win. That's insane. That is ludicrous. They just played the Infinite. What the fuck? That's every Gwenpool buff. What? June mentions nightmare for that. It's a fucking nightmare for me, dude. I'm the Modok on 5 deck. Okay. What the fuck is this? Are you playing Hella? Good death. mill. That's probably actually really good against us. Because we have this, like, very specific desire to get certain things. Like, we need specific cards in our hand in order to do anything. I guess the other hand is we could just have infinite resources a lot of the time. Yondu my Morb. Alright, that's acceptable. Wait. I'm fucking discarding my fucking... I'm an idiot. Why did I discard the death? Oh, I'm stupid. I needed to keep the death in my hand. I'm so dumb. That was really stupid. I totally fucked that up. I'm surely just going to win this game with Gambit. Surely Gambit just hits something on the right. Yeah? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Let's go! Yo! He's about to make a name for himself here. Let's go! Gambito! Let's fucking go! 20 grounds takes minutes to get a match. That reads like a copy pasta. That is the most copy pasta thing I've ever seen anyone say. That's incredible. All right, here's the thing. We always hit whatever they play. %, right? That Scarlet Spider is about to die. To Gambit. You feel me? Fuck! Those are the worst possible outcomes! Discard my Modok? My god. Oh god, they're emoting me already. Fuck. Okay. I must be dead. Wait. Wait, I win. I just win. I actually 100% just win. Dracula is 10 right now. Holy shit. I'm the greatest? Oh, you're emoting me? Dude, they literally GG'd before turn 6 and then emoted me, fuck you. Holy shit. Oh my god. Nice. All right. Magneto mid. Not much I can do about it, unfortunately. Like, it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna try to win the right lane regardless. Okay, I mean, are we going to be able to win? Scorn goes there. Gambit hits something in the left lane, presumably. Oh, wait, no, we win anyway. Because the Modok discards both of these. Yeah, we just win. This is a 28 Dracula. Or 28 APOC. We just get him. We just get him, dude. You say the deck is bad? It's bad because of what just happened, right? Other decks do points more consistently. Like, there's always like a would have in discard because it didn't go perfectly. See, like, they Agent Venom, we just fucking eat shit. Now they drew 2 cards after Agent Venom. Boy. Alright, so here's the deal. It always hits, not Dracula or Blade. Oh. Okay. I mean, it's not as bad as you think, actually. Part of me wants to just roll this. I want to just roll this so bad. I think I die. Wait, do we go do a tiebreaker here and then I win the tiebreaker? Holy shit. Maybe? Woo! Let's go! Arshem is not a deck that should beat us a lot of the time. So losing a very winnable game feels pretty frustrating. Forge. What deck plays Forge? Add a 10 or more. Well, at least it'll... Hey, that's actually kind of playable. Not really, but like, kind of. Is it Surfer? Well, I mean... It is what it is, right? What are we gonna do? Play it? Come on now. Whoa, that guy's big as hell. All right, I don't like what I'm about to do here. But I am going to snap this. I think we win. Thank God they didn't have the card Red Guardian. But Dracula's about to solo the shit out of this lane. Just absolutely holding it down to the tune of 29 points. Good God, y'all. Is Scorn making discard better? Yes. Agent Venom. All right, our hand is quite strong. Our hand is quite strong. Okay. I'm scared. I'm scared of a Cosmo. I made a much dumber play. All right. Check out my dumb play. Incredibly rewarded. All right, let's find out if we're anywhere close to winning. Hit monkey. Okay, we're not winning that one. Mysterio 6, Nico 8. Okay, we are winning this game. Even, wow. Are we losing the Dracula lane? No, that's 32. I was gonna say, that would be insane. Those numbers are quite big. We missed like a bunch of 50-50s, basically. And it's like, if you're missing the 50-50s, the deck isn't competing. But we were hitting them earlier, and then we were hitting the 50-50s, and then we were competing. And it's like, all right, I guess that's just how it is. They're snapping me. My hand is really good. I shouldn't stay, but I will. Sorry about that arson. That doesn't make me feel better. Don't worry about it. Fucking sucks, though. We keep just, like, rando losing. Proxima. Alright. I'm hoping I'll win this. It's a good hit. No arguments from me. Okay. Let's find out what the fuck happens. Need space for swarms? I'll have it. We are once again in the 50-50 zone. Okay, well, the Dracula gets 2 procs now. Are we gonna win or not? I think both Dracs have to hit... Actually, only the Swarm Drac has to hit... Only the right Drac has to hit Apocalypse. We are fully 50-50. We could also kill Ajax. God damn it, let's go. All right, we're back. We're so back. We're so fucking back. We're so fucking back. We're so fucking back. It's all justified. Everything. This deck is good again. Oh, Wolf. Hello. We might be playing you. You might be getting us something interesting here. It might be a wolf angle. Fast into Silver Sable. Alright. At least it's over there. God, I want to stay so bad. I'm gonna stay. Wait, why didn't I play the Dracula? Oh my god. Oh, what the fuck? Oh my god. I just didn't play the card? Oh my god. I'm gonna cry. Does this win? Wait. We cooked! We cooked so hard! Oh my god. We didn't see it? Good. You didn't deserve to see it. That's why we won.